My few golden tips. These are literally tips that helped me sail through. Like, I can vouch for them. Whenever anybody, even a general friend, a cousin, a family member, anybody, they ask me that, give me 3 tips or 4 tips that helped you pass CFA level 1. These are things that I always say like this because they are things that I swore by. Number 1 tip, and very, very important, do not ignore the unknown. Tackle the unknown first, basically. What is unknown? Fixed income and derivatives are things that you may not have studied intensively if you are out of college or in college. These are particularly for those students. Fixed income and derivatives, maybe suna hoga. Fixed income mein maybe you might have heard of debt a little bit, but you have never really studied it intensively, not in India at least. So these are unknown things. I remember when I was giving my CFA level 1 exam, before I even registered, people who I spoke to, my seniors, they used to tell me that, fixed income is very hard. Fixed income is this, fixed income is that, blah, 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 blah. And because of that, there was a lot of fear instilled in me about fixed income. Is it hard? Is it easy? Is it simple? Whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, it is unknown. That is why it seems a little difficult maybe, because it is unknown. That is what I realized much later in retrospect. So fixed income and derivatives, they are the unknown parts of your education. Tackle them first. Sabse pehle, first things first, start studying fixed income and start studying derivatives. Trust me, you will thank me later. Why? Because, like I said, they are things that will really take you a long way. Fixed income, derivatives, and time value of money in quants. These 3 things. Time value of money, basically just for the calculator functions. That entire chapter teaches you a lot of the calculator. So if you know calculator tricks, it's okay. But otherwise, fixed income and derivatives cannot be ignored. Like I said, it just, in the start, you usually have enough time, right? You have a bigger mental space. You're more pumped up that, okay, let's do this, let's get this thing done, etc., etc. So tackle the hard things first. When your mental bandwidth is larger, when you have a longer time period to even panic, get anxiety, everything, to tab kar lo. Because if you leave something so unknown for the end, you will just end up in unnecessary panic and anxiety, and we do not want that. So tackle fixed income and derivatives in the very start, or as soon as possible at least. Point number 2, my golden tip number 2, do not ignore ethics. I keep saying this, aapko lagega kyun, why am I repeating this again? I'll tell you why. When you study ethics for the first time, especially in level 1, when the first time you read it or somebody explains it to you, you'll be like, ye kitna simple hai, like why do people hype about it? It seems so simple. You'll be like, अरे ये तो 5th standard के बच्चे को आ जाएगा, and you are right, सच में आ जाएगा. It is not tough to understand. But ethics, when you see the questions, you will be mind blown of how did they frame this question. That is where ethics becomes tough, when they start framing the questions. Why? Because each and every option seem extremely similar. A, B, C में से आप difference भी नहीं निकाल पाओगे, इतना tough होता है if you have not practiced enough. That's why please do not ignore ethics. Please focus on ethics. At least 3 months before your exam, ethics should be practiced every single day. Trust me, you will thank me later for this tip. It is that important. Tip number 3, and something that you cannot even imagine I'm gonna say, but I will, because I'm here to share with you the honest, vulnerable truth about everything, right? Tip number 3 that I followed and I live by is that do FRA, or the account, in our time it was called financial reporting analysis. Right now I think the accounting name has changed, right? I'll find the name and I'll link it here. Do that as your last subject, the account subject, the biggest, that one book that you have, do that last. Yes, you heard me right. A lot of people say, what is she saying? How can we do that last? Itna sara hai, that's such a big subject altogether. How can we do that last? Blah, blah, blah. But do you know why I'm telling you to do it last? It is so big. FRA is so big in terms of length, in terms of content, right? It is a lot of content. It's not tough or anything, but it is a lot of content. So uska, at least I was not able to do 2 readings. It is almost humanly impossible in 5 months. Some very intelligent people do also, I'm not denying. Even I'm intelligent, but still, I played a smart trick. If you do it last, before you start your second reading, so basically in your first readings end, when you do FRA, before you start your second reading, what happens is that you are already ready to start solving questions and start revising. You don't need to do a second reading for it. You can just count it in your cumulative part of the first one. How will you do that? I will share it in my detailed plan, do not worry. But just listen to me, do FRA last. Why? So that you can do it only once, so that you only have to read it once instead of twice. It's a game changer. Seriously it is. So please listen to me and do FRA last. So yes, these were my 3 absolute golden tips to pass CFA level 1. It helped me, and I know that if I would not have done this, maybe I wouldn't have passed. Trust me, if I would have done FRA first. So these are very nitty-gritty things, but it really helped me, and I genuinely wish that somebody told me this at that time. It came to my mind much later, after a lot of analysis, after a lot of thinking, did I come up with this plan, and it really helped. Now moving on to the part that we all are waiting for, the detailed plan. To the T, what did I do? So, my plan starts very simple. We do only 1 proper reading. Yes, a lot of people say in level 1 you should do 3, especially in level 1 people think ki sab vele baithe hain, do 2 readings, do 3 readings. No, I did literally, and I promise, God promise, I did only 1 proper full reading of each subject. Golden rule, right? So what I used to do is, I used to first listen to the Mark Meldrum videos, make notes, extremely important. When I say make notes, it basically just means explain the same thing that he has explained you in your own words. So basically, if he's giving an example of an apple, but I like oranges, I will explain it in my books as oranges so that I don't forget. That is what I mean by make notes. Explain things to yourself so that aap nahi bhule. Once you explain things to yourself, once you have acceptance, closure, everything, life is better. So explain it to yourself. Again, repeating the steps. I would watch the video, make notes, and then I would read that entire chapter properly from Schweser. Properly, I really mean properly. So watch the video, make notes, then read the entire chapter. After that, I would solve the blue box questions from Schweser. Each and every blue box question I have solved, and so should you. It is very important. It's a good practice. Even if you can see the answer, solve it properly, step by step. Don't just write the answer. Write the steps. Write why you have done this. Writing is so underrated. It really helps, because the moment you start writing down things, your muscle memory starts kicking in more. So use it. Use that point. Okay. Watch the video, write notes, read the chapter, write down the questions, the blue box questions, solve it, literally point to point to point. After that, I used to solve the end of chapter questions from Schweser as a quick quiz. That used to take barely 10 to 15 minutes. So solve that. The first reading has still not ended. After that, the same chapter, only chapter I'm talking about. So 1 reading. For example, if I'm doing time value of money, this entire process is for time value of money. After I finish the end of chapter questions from Schweser, I will do the end of chapter questions from the curriculum notes. So in the curriculum notes, I will go and find time value of money, and I will solve the end of chapter questions of that. All of them. That's it. Then time value of money is done. I don't touch it again till my second revision. Okay. I repeat the same process for each and every reading, each and every subject, right? Now you'll be like, oh, but if we do that, we'll forget things. Calm down. I'm coming back to that. I will come to that, right? So this particular format is followed for each and every subject. However, you want to time the subjects. Like I said, my suggestion, do fixed income and derivatives first, do FRA last. It helps like nothing. It helps like none other, sorry. So yes, follow that system. Now, once you are done with your first reading to the T, 1 month, 1.5 months is a brilliant time, but otherwise 1 month before your exam, you will do your revision, second revision. Now, how does your revision start? Your revision will start by you will take up the first subject that you did. So if you have done fixed income in your first reading, if you have followed my pattern and you have taken fixed income, so your revision will start by fixed income. Now what will you do? Will you read the entire Schweser notes again? Will you do everything again? No. In your second reading, you will just read through the notes that you have written for yourself. you will read the entire fixed income subject together. Now we are not going chapter wise, we are going subject wise. You will read the entire fixed income subject together, just the notes that you have written, that's it. और कुछ नहीं पढ़ना. Read the notes that you have written, and then the moment you finish reading that the entire subject, the notes from the entire subject, you will log into your candidate resources, you will log into your CFA Institute ID, go to the learning ecosystem, go to the candidate resources, and you will go to fixed income. Once you go to fixed income, you will start solving questions. How many questions will you solve? You will solve at least 10 to 15 questions for the first time. 20 also is great. For the first time, solve all 20 questions. On that particular day, you will also solve at least minimum 10 questions of ethics from the candidate resources. Also, if you have followed my system and done FRA last, that means FRA is extremely fresh. आपको revision की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. That is why I said do FRA. Immediately do 10 questions of FRA also. This basically piles up. It is called cumulative revision. We don't enter. Now, say after fixed income, since your second subject that you did, always start your revision with the same pattern that your first reading was. So suppose the second subject that you revised was derivatives. Now you will go through the notes of derivatives from the notes that you have written for derivatives. All the notes that you have written for all chapters together. Once you finish reading all the chapter notes together, then you will go to your candidate resources, open derivatives, solve at least 20 questions of derivatives, along with 10 questions of fixed income, along with 10 questions of ethics, along with 10 questions of FRA. Also, even while you are revising derivatives, say while you are reading derivatives, it takes you 2 days to read derivatives. Will you only read derivatives in those 2 days? No. You will also solve fixed income, FRA and ethics while you are reading derivatives. Then when you finish your notes, when you finish reading through your notes of derivatives, then you will add derivatives. Like this, you will keep adding subjects till you complete all 10. This is called cumulative revision, and this is what will get your memory ticking. Now you say, in the second reading, how can we only read through our notes? What if we miss out on something? You won't, because your first reading was so in-depth, it was done so well, that even though you do not feel it right now, you actually remember much more. So the notes are just to kick in your memory, just to trigger that memory again, to recollect the things that maybe you wanted some recollection of. And the practice that you are doing, the cumulative practice that you are doing, is enough to make you check if you are actually forgetting something important or not, or to keep you in track of how the questions will be asked, right? The cumulative revision is so that you know how to handle all 10 subjects together by the time your exam is scheduled. Trust me guys, this really helps. Now, moving on to my last and final part of this detailed plan, the mock test. So I solve mock tests from the CFA Institute. I usually do not do all of it. It's not a good habit. But during my CFA level 1 did I think 1 or 2 mock tests. I think 2 I did. And I did it literally 2 days before the exam, 1 day and 2 days. It's a brilliant strategy that I feel, because I feel like 1 day before the exam, instead of studying everything and getting all panicked, it's good to do the mock test. Why? Because it's like a complete wholesome revision. So it really saves on time. It just keeps you on track. Do it with a timer. It's even better. Although CFA level 1 mein time is not an issue, but just put a timer. Just gives you that confidence boost that you really need. So yes guys, I have completed my entire plan. It is such a long plan. My god, my gala dukh gaya. In case I have missed out on anything, in case you feel that you want more clarity on any point, please do let me know. I will willingly answer it. I will happily make a video on it. Like I said, I'm making a video on the calculator functions. Keep an eye for that. You do not want to miss that. And yes, if you like the video, then please do like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. Please help me grow so that I can help you guys as much as possible. And yes, that is it from my end. All my best wishes to all of you who have your exam in the month of August, and for all of you who are also going to give the exam in the upcoming future. Keep watching my videos. Until then, keep sparkling and definitely keep learning.